And so I had 10-year notes, paid those off in just last summer. And so kind of finally got my finances in order and decided, you know what, the rent, the money for those houses, the rent that I'm going to collect will replace my income. My financial advisor told me that last fall. It took me 90 days to get over the shock that I could actually retire,
Look at
you
that.
know? So, and so, yeah, so I did retire on January 9th, and I'm devoting myself to other duties.
Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Joe Thomas, is a recently retired IT professional turned IRA investor. He's based out of the DFW Metro in Texas. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Now, when we talk about IRA investing, this is something that I've heard of quite a bit recently, and I believe it's picking up steam. How did you get into IRA investing?
So when a job transfer brought me here from Southern California to the DFW area, I actually live in Garland. A little plug for my city. Garland's the 13th largest city in Texas and the 93rd largest in the U.S. A job transfer brought me here. She specialized in investors buying rental real estate for investors, single family homes. And so when I said, well, and she helped me buy my primary residence. But when I said I don't have money to invest, she says, what about your 401k at the time? And I said, well, I've got some money in the 401k and I know that money's not going to be enough to retire on. I'd like to do something to accelerate that. And she says, well, let's talk about how to invest using that money, or invest in real estate using that money. And that got me started.
That was your realtor.
It was.
That's a good realtor. I mean, I think one of the interesting things that I've noticed being a realtor in Texas is, I think this is true across the board, whichever state you're in. There seems to be this division from realtors who have an investing mentality and are comfortable working with investors versus folks who are just strictly looking for, single family, buying a home for their homestead type of deal. It's good to see that there's other people in the space who are, doing both.
Yeah, absolutely. And she was primarily focused on investors. She just happened to be a friend of a friend that said, okay, I'll do you a favor and help you buy a personal home. But then when, once you get settled, I want to talk about, seeing about how we can do some real estate investing. And so kind of that's where we got started. So
Now, with the IRA investing, if we could get a little granular here, Joe, and talk about how this process actually works. I mean, for me, looking at it from the outside looking in, it seems like, okay, well, how exactly would I move this money from an IRA into real estate?
So watched one thing she did turn me on to was a little book, because the lending for real estate is specialized. It's called non-recourse, which means they have no recourse if you don't make the payments. Then to take that property, they cannot come after your other assets. And so it's a specialized lending. And there's actually a book by one of the banks that does this, North American Savings Bank. Let me just show you the cover of the book. And so
There
that
it is.
is readily available on Amazon. It's less than $20. And, if you get the paperback edition, and these guys talk about how to set it up, how to roll it over to a self-directed IRA. And then all of their focus is on real estate, but they also talk about other things like things you cannot invest in, such as antiques and collectibles. That's not permitted under the IRS rules because that may or may not be worth anything to somebody else. And so, whereas real estate will always be worth something, and especially income producing real estate.
I'd like to break down the non-recourse term, and we were talking in the green room, right? What does that mean in this sense, right? Non-recourse lending.
Very simply, it is if you do not make the payments and they go to repossess the property, and it is not, and repossessing that property and selling it will not pay off the loan that they have, then they have no other recourse. They cannot come after your other assets because that's the only asset that's available to them. And so, there's other lending requirements that they do to kind of, because that's a higher risk model. And so there's other requirements that may not be available on that wouldn't be there for a conventional loan on your home for your homestead. For instance, higher down payment, maybe a little higher interest rate, things like that. But that's my, I don't know, short and sweet definition of non-recourse. The only recourse they have is to come take that house. Your personal assets are not at risk.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So pivoting a bit here, Joe, when we talk about self-directed IRAs, one of the common questions that I hear is, which asset classes can you invest in, and are there any limitations?
So there are some limitations. Typically, they want you to invest in properties that will draw income, such as residential real estate primarily. Things that are absolutely prohibited, things like vacant land, which you're speculating it might be worth something in the future to somebody. Antiques and collectibles, all prohibited. And S corporations, you're prohibited from investing in those. Other than that, if it'll make money, you're typically allowed to do it. And of course, stocks and bonds and mutual funds, which most IRAs have devolved into just that because it's easier for the employers to do that. Other than that, the law allows for it.
Is there an element of, you have to be a certain level detached from it? It has to be passive. You can't be too active in the business?
Absolutely. There's a big prohibition against what they call self-dealing. And so if you buy a residential home to rent, you cannot occupy it yourself. You or your spouse could not occupy it, neither your ascendants or descendants. So not your parents, not your grandparents, not your children, not your grandchildren. That line cannot benefit from this. Now, if it's your siblings going this way, no problem. And so that's a form of what they call self-dealing. You're benefiting from your IRA without the IRS getting their tax money from that. So
Now,
no self-dealing.
When we compare segments, from year to year annualized leases to short-term rentals to fix and flip even, right? Are you able to do real estate IRA investing in all of those segments, or would some of them be potentially prohibited.
No, I believe all of those would be allowed. The temptation though is to, let's say you buy a vacation home in Colorado and you're renting that out all except for 1 week of the year where you go up there and use it yourself. Well, that is self-dealing, and if they find out, they could invalidate your entire IRA, and you would be owed taxes on the entire amount of the IRA. And so
Now,
self-dealing it's very tricky. And so even with residential real estate, you have tenants, you need a property manager to manage that for you. So you can't manage it yourself. You can't put sweat equity into the property. You have to hire someone to do that. Now you can direct who you hire. You can direct your property manager to do this or that and find you tenants, but you can't do it yourself. There's kind of that's self-dealing that's benefiting the IRA, and it's not allowed.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Now, for folks who are looking at getting started, I think one of the things that is alluring about the idea of a self-directed IRA is, well, you're deferring the tax obligation. If you're generating, a short-term rental cash flow from an Airbnb, you can't cash out on that until you're 59 and a half or whatever the age is, right? You have to let that stack up in the IRA.
Well, and 59 and a half. Yeah. So here's the kind of let's just talk about the step-by-step process, kind of 5 steps here at a high level. And again, I would refer people to the IRAlending.com website that gets into more details, good FAQs there. But the 5 steps. So number 1, you're going to set up your self-directed IRA with a qualified custodian, and there's custodians listed on that website. And so to do that, you'll need to loan the LLC the money to form it. You got to pay the lawyer to form the LLC. And then secondly, that LLC will go to the bank and set up a checking account. Typically, you've got to loan it $100 to start a checking account. And so now you're ready to receive money or rental money, for example, into that account, or pay expenses from that account that's not your personal account. It's another entity that's separate from you. All right. And then once you get that set up, you identify an investment property, just like you would any other property you're going to buy. And so then you go and make a qualified offer, and then you apply with, I'm using North American Savings Bank because they actually do non-recourse lending. Very few lenders in America do this. And so there's only 2 or 3. NASB happens to be one of the big ones, and they're out of Kansas City. And so you approve that. They give you approval typically within 48 hours. And then then they process it just like anything. So they do the underwriting. Typically that closing takes 30 to 45 days because there's coordination there with with your custodian of your IRA. And so that may take a little longer. You're not going to close this in 15 days. It takes a little longer to get it closed. And then once the deal closes, your LLC, your IRA, now owns the property. So any rental income you get goes into that IRA's checking account. Any expenses that you have to pay, just like if you had brokerage expenses.
Yeah.
You got to pay your broker something to invest in stocks. That's an expense of the investment. Same thing. If I've got a broken dishwasher and I need to pay a guy to repair it, that comes out of the IRA checking account. So, so that's kind of the basics there. And just like any other IRA, if you're still working, you can still contribute to it up to the normal limits, the $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, depending on how old you are and if you can, catch up contributions and such. And yeah, and you can do this at any age. The 59 and a half, if you take withdrawals from it, before 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty. After 59 and a half, the withdrawal from it would not incur the penalty, but you would get a 1099 at the end of the year and be required to pay taxes.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
We are coming up on time here, Joe. Any new projects that you're working on in the Garland area? Any new exciting deals that you're looking at? And then as well, if folks are interested in reaching out to you, what's the best way that they can contact you?
Yeah, so I'd like to just share the book that I highly recommend you get this book, read through this little guy, a whole ton of good information. IRAlending.com will redirect you to the North American Savings Bank website with all of their FAQs. And that higher level. There's a lot more detail in the book, and it's less than $20 on Amazon. So, so for me, we've got four. So I've got this with my IRA. My wife has her own LLC for her IRA, and so we have. When I bought these houses in 2018, then I decided I decided I was going to pay cash, which puts you at the head of the line when you're going to buy it, and then figured out how much rent I could collect, and then took a mortgage that would be just less than the amount of the rent. So the rent went 100% to paying that mortgage off. Did that with my second one, paid cash, took a mortgage, and then bought my third one, paid cash, and then used the rent from that one to make double principal payments on the other two.
Yeah.
And so I had 10-year notes, paid those off in just last summer. And so kind of finally got my finances in order and decided, you know what, the rent, the money for those houses, the rent that I'm going to collect will replace my income. My financial advisor told me that last fall. It took me 90 days to get over the shock that I could actually retire.
Look at that.
So, and so, so I did retire on January 9th, and I'm devoting myself to other duties. I went and actually I got elected to the Garland City Council last May.
Congratulations.
So thank you. I'm keeping pretty busy with city council duties. Being as large a city as Garland, there's quite a bit to do. So anyway, but yeah, so with those four, we've kind of settled in, and we're kind of just right now, because of how much we had in savings. We're not even touching our IRA money yet, but eventually we'll make withdrawals from the IRA, and basically you send the money to the custodian saying, here's some money, and then you give them directions on what to do with the money. And what to do with it is send that to my personal checking account, and that will be a taxable event that the money comes to you directly, and then you'll be looking for that 1099 at the end of the year.
Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for your time.
All right. Very good. I'm glad to help. Personally, you can reach out to me. I've got my LLC has a little email address if you want to reach out. It's JRTJ777 holdings, plural holdings, @gmail.com.